are the same, so you might need someone to adjust the zoom. So let us know if you can't see Aisha's screen. Can you guys see it in the room?
I can see it on the PC, but not on the screen behind us.
Are we sharing the wrong window from the laptop? Yeah.
Maybe in the room you can change the machine setup so it's just mirroring the
I
screen.
think we have it. We have both now, so yeah, we can
Okay.
see the slides. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Aisha.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining this presentation. My name is Aisha Lali, and I'm excited to share our work on FAIR, the fiscal algorithm for inflation and retail, which is designed to address e-commerce pricing challenges in today's economy. Our affiliation include New York University, Wentworth Institute of Technology, and California State University, Monterey Bay. In this presentation, we will go through an overview of e-commerce pricing challenges, introduction to FAIR algorithm, key objectives and design of FAIR, algorithm workflow and ranking mechanism, challenges, limitation, and future direction. So overview of e-commerce pricing and challenges. In recent years, inflation has significantly impacted both vendors and consumers in e-commerce spaces. Prices of goods are rising steadily due to various economic pressures, including supply chain issues, labor shortages, and fluctuation demands. Inflation affects not only the raw costs vendors face, such as production and shipping, but also consumer purchasing power, which becomes limited as prices rise. In an online marketplace where multiple vendors sell similar products, we often see substantial price disparities. Since vendors usually set their prices independently, these disparities can lead to confusion and mistrust among consumers. Take, for example, two sellers offering the near identical product but with 20% price difference. While one may reflect the vendor's real cost, the other might simply be an opportunistic markup. The lack of regulation and standardization in e-commerce has led to practices like price gouging, particularly in times of crisis. We saw this during COVID-19 pandemic, when prices on essential goods such as cleaning products surged due to limited supply and increased demand. Even after supply issues resolved, some prices stayed elevated, sparking accusations of price gouging and reduction of consumers' trust. The environment underscores the need for a price system that dynamically reflects real-time economic data, such as inflation and interest rates, to maintain a fair balance. FAIR was created to address these issues by providing vendors with a transparent, real-time pricing model that aligns with current economic conditions. With FAIR, we aim to bridge the gap between vendor costs and consumer trust by offering a fair, economically justified pricing structure. Our purpose with the FAIR algorithm is not only to address pricing inconsistencies, but also to shift the focus toward a fairer, more consumer-centric model. Unlike many pricing algorithms that prioritize maximizing seller profits, often leading to excessive markups and an escalating cycle of price inflation, FAIR places the consumer at the heart of the pricing process. One of our core motivations is to create transparent, reliable pricing system that consumers can trust. We recognize that many traditional pricing algorithms, while effective for profitability, often fail to consider the consumer experience, resulting in frustration and eroding trust. By designing FAIR to align prices with real-time economic data, such as inflation, shipping costs, and interest rates, we aim to establish a fair price point that resonates with consumers and reinforces their confidence in the marketplace. However, FAIR is still designed with the vendor success in mind. Vendors retain flexibility to set their own prices and can achieve competitive positioning because consumers will perceive the value and fairness in these prices. This transparency can ultimately drive more traffic and sales to vendors who follow FAIR guidelines. When consumers feel confident that they're getting a fair deal, they're more likely to make purchases, and thus their trust in the platform grows over time. FAIR thus creates a balanced approach. Vendors can remain profitable, even thrive, by aligning with fair pricing principles, while consumers benefit from transparency and reasonable prices. By prioritizing both groups, we believe that FAIR can foster a healthier, more sustainable e-commerce environment where trust and profitability go hand in hand. The FAIR algorithm was developed with four primary goals in mind, each carefully designed to support both vendors and consumers in a balanced e-commerce environment. Our first objective is fair competition. Unlike traditional pricing models that often favor large vendors with advanced pricing tools, FAIR levels the playing field by ranking vendors based on how closely their prices align with a fair calculated price. This price accounts for real costs like production, shipping, and inflation by incentivizing vendors to price their products competitively. We create an environment where all vendors, regardless of size, have the chance to achieve better visibility if they offer fair market-aligned prices. The second objective is the real-time adjustments. FAIR dynamically updates prices based on real-time economic data, like inflation rates and interest rates, through integration with trusted financial APIs. These real-time adjustments mean that prices are always reflective of current market conditions. For consumers, this ensures that prices are fair and relevant to the latest economic factors. For vendors, this provides a reliable way to adapt their prices without the fear of becoming out of sync with market realities. Third, we emphasize vendor flexibility. While FAIR provides a suggested fair price, vendors retain complete control over their final pricing decisions. They can set their prices above or below the fair price based on their desired profit margin and strategic goals. However, vendors that align closely with the fair price receive a visibility boost, making it advantageous for them to maintain competitive, consumer-friendly pricing. This flexibility allows vendors to balance their profitability goals with the incentives offered by FAIR's ranking system. And finally, FAIR prioritizes consumer trust. Transparency and fairness are at the core of the algorithm, ensuring consumers feel confident that they are getting a fair deal. By discouraging extreme markups and promoting fair competition, FAIR builds an environment where consumers trust the prices they see and believe that vendors are pricing fairly. This trust, in turn, encourages repeat buyers and strengthens the marketplace overall. Algorithm workflow and ranking mechanism. I've divided the workflow into several parts. So the first step in the workflow is the data input from vendors. Each vendor submits detailed information about their product, including production cost, overhead number of units, and shipping. They must also provide supporting documentation to ensure transparency and accuracy in these inputs. This documentation helps establish a fair starting point for each vendor's pricing. Next, the system fetches real-time inflation and interest rate data from external APIs. After entering the product details, vendors select profit margin, low, high, or medium, or custom, based on their business model. This step is symbolic, as it creates a suggested price that aligns with their profit goals while also providing a benchmark against the fair price. Once the fair price is calculated, vendors can set their final price based on their desired profit margin. And next, with the vendor's data and the latest economic information, the algorithm calculates a dynamic base price. It can be calculated for bulk shipment or on a per unit basis, providing flexibility to match vendor operational needs. At this step, the system inputs real-time economic data, specifically inflation and interest rates, to reflect current market conditions. Using the base price, the algorithm calculates the fair price. This is done by applying both inflation and interest rate adjustments. Finally, the fair price is multiplied by the selected profit margin, giving us the suggested price, a final price. This price aligns with both the vendor's profit goals and the fair pricing structure in order to encourage reasonable pricing. At this step, the vendor submits their chosen price for the product. The algorithm then checks whether the vendor's price is at or below the lowest market price. If the vendor's price is above the lowest market price, then we calculate the price deviation. The formula for this is the price difference between vendor's price and the fair price divided by the fair price. If the vendor's price is at or below the market price, the price deviation is set to 0. This 0 deviation results in a maximum visibility for the vendor, rewarding them for competitiveness. Once the price deviation is determined, the algorithm calculates the vendor's rank. This ranking system rewards vendors whose price closer to the fair price by giving them higher rank and therefore better visibility on the platform. Finally, the algorithm displays the result to the vendor. This includes a summary of key metrics such as the base price, adjusted price, final price, the vendor's chosen price, and calculated rank. and the price deviation. This transparency allows vendors to see exactly how their pricing decisions affect their rank and visibility. Over here, you can see an example of a t-shirt that I put in, and I chose to calculate it in total. So this was a bulk shipment of 1,000 t-shirts. The overhead cost is 200, the shipping cost was 300, and the number of t-shirts is 300. And based on that, I chose a profit margin of 30%. And according to today's rates, inflation rate is 2.4, interest rate 6.30. So it gave me the base price as $5, and with the fair price being at $5.44. And based on the margin that I chose, it would be a $7.08. I thought that was a little bit low, so I decided to go for $9, and right here it gives me the output. So I would put me at a vendor a price deviation of 65%. As we said, like if it was the lowest price, it would be 0, so that's obviously very high. And the vendor rank would have to compare to others selling similar products. Challenges, limitations, and future directions. So our challenges really, so it's a new idea. There's a lot still to go into it. We have the website ready, but we need to implement the algorithm into it. So far we have it as a header file. And the next step, we would like to turn it into a API. So that's like what we want to work on in the future. We want people from different countries to be able to implement our algorithm, to be able to change the variables based on their needs. And obviously with time, we would want it to have better insights for the vendors and also for consumer behavior. Some things that we find might be challenging are so with rapid inflation and inflation rates, we need to figure out how much, what is the correct timeline to update those rates. Still not sure about what is the correct method for that. And also there's some handling of market anomalies. So if a seller has a really low price for a product, we don't want to penalize them. We want them to make money and to be able to have a good ranking price. But at the same time, we need to watch out for unfair advantages. Suppose countries trying to subsidize certain products in order to make them cheaper, to take out competition. We want to make sure that we think of that and be able to not allow this kind of stuff. And with that, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you, Aisha. Any questions? I can't see the room, so I'm not sure, but all right. Thank you so much, Aisha.
Thank you.
And is
Thank
the
you.
third speaker in the room, which is the paper